Chief. Everyone's asking about Chief all the time. I haven't wanted to sell him because he's just so good. Like I told you. Hey guys, I got a problem. Look, there's only that much hay left in my barn, and that's not good. So anyway, let me show you what I'm doing today, and I'm going to explain to you a little bit about my hay situation. And why don't you guess how much I'm having to feed right now per month for my herd of horses and donkeys. Well, you may see some horses tied up behind me here. We got Eho over there. And we've got Cinder here in front. And Gold 66. I was gonna say Mr. 66, but maybe that'd be a good name for one of his sons someday. But let me tell you what I'm doing today. So Cinder here is a beautiful little gelding. He's just coming 2 years old. He's super gentle. He came off the Navajo reservation, but not directly to me. He was actually owned by the veterinarian in Winslow, who sold him to another kid who needed some money and sold him to me. Anyway, he is headed to Ohio, to Jenna. Jenna watches our channel. She loves our horses, and she just dreamed of getting a horse from the farm on Route 66. Cinder, are you waving to her? Because that's not impressive to paw there. But anyway, he is beautiful. I just got him tied up. I'm gonna deworm these horses here. All three of these are about the same age. We got Cinder that's coming to. We got Gold 66 coming to. And Eho's probably 3. But he was stunted from the malnourishment. But he is looking so much better all the time. I also need to get Cordell out here to trim these up. Sorry, the wind's picking up for a little bit, but I'm gonna deworm these horses right here with some ivermectin paste. And I just find it's good for them to stand around and be tied up. They learn some patience and manners. And I'm stepping over here out of the wind. I'm gonna deworm these and maybe brush them off a little bit and just mess with them. Right over here, Cinder is going to get his Coggins test this next week, so he'll be ready to ship to Ohio. And we'll see what else we can get done today. Well, I got them all dewormed, and now I'm gonna head over and deworm Pearl. And I got a lot of great names suggested for the little red horse, but I like unique names, and I loved one of your suggestions. It was to call him Red Fred. So we're gonna call him Fred because he's a little red colt. So I'm gonna go deworm them, and then I'll tell you more about the hay situation and what's going on with that. It's costing a lot of money to feed all these horses, so I do need to sell some. I'd keep them all around all the time if I could, but I just can't afford to do that. Sorry, when I step in the shade, it changed the light out there, but I'm gonna go deworm those other two, and then I'll let you know what's going on. So here's Red Fred. He's looking good. I'm gonna deworm him, and I tied up Pearl so I could deworm her. And I don't know if I brought enough wormer down to deworm you right now, Poco, but we may get to you. Well, I had enough to do Red Fred, Poco, and Pearl, so they're all, I better tie her a little closer there. But anyway, got them all, not all, but I got the 3 tied up in the stud pin, and then these 3 dewormed today. So let me tie Pearl a little closer, and then I'll tell you about my hay situation. Hey Cinder, you got, there you go. So, just coming back to stand in that little overhang, so the wind hopefully sounds a little better. So here's the situation with hay. As you can see, I'm about out in my barn, but luckily I planned for winter and got $8,000 worth of hay in about September. And what I couldn't fit in my barn, I stored in a semi tractor trailer, I think they call them. I'll show you.
We pulled a lot of stuff out of the way right here. Said slow and steady wins the race. That's for sure. He's just taking it slow and easy, trying not to drop any hay. He said some of these bumps, just the smallest bumps can knock over some of this hay. So he's trying to go really slow and get this done. He's asked me to stand right over here so I can tell him that grooming has on this side just how far he is from the top and the side and the bottom, just so he knows how well it's fit.
Stored as much as I could in there. Also, I fit $8,000 worth of hay in my barn in that trailer. So even though the barn's about empty, I have the trailer full. So I went and got some hay today, and I brought some back. It'll be kind of a pain for a little while, but at least I have the hay, and I purchased it before it got as high as it is now. I am feeding approximately 4 bales of hay a day, and hay around here in Arizona right now is approximately $20 a bale. So you do the math, that's a lot of money, especially if I was to do that 365 days out of the year. If I was to do that every day of the year, I'd be at over $29,000 to feed the horses and donkeys I've been feeding. But I don't feed that many horses constantly, and I have some hay, or I'm sorry, some pasture. They call them a dust devil in Arizona, but some wind just picked up and kind of, anyway, hopefully it didn't get too loud. But so during the summer, I'm able to keep them on some pastures, some of the horses, and that cuts down a lot of my feed bill, even though I do pay for water assessments for the irrigation company to maintain the irrigation lines and the underwater lines, as well as the pumps and all that stuff. And also property tax. So I'm probably paying nearly $30,000 a year in hay, water assessments, and property tax. And so I have to sell these horses and hopefully make a little bit of a profit to be able to keep finding good homes for them. My registered horses sell for more money, and the horses that are trained to do things sell for more money. But those rescues that I get, my number one goal is just to get them healthy and better trained so I can get them to a forever home that'll take care of them. So I don't always make much money there. I try not to lose money. The goal is not to lose money, because hopefully I make a little bit to replenish my hay supply. Anyway, someone actually messaged or emailed me today, and they said, I can't believe you're trying to get, they said 900% higher for what you probably paid for that horse, which made me laugh, because the horse was Red Fred, and I paid $200 for Red Fred. He had bad hooves, and so last video, or a couple of videos ago, you may have seen us get his hooves fixed up, and he's starting to learn to halter train. and lead. And anyway, I've kept him at least a month now, so I'm into him at least $300, not counting any of my time and effort, and I'm trying to get $400 for him. So I thought, wow, someone thinks I'm gouging people on the price. Well, if I can make $100, that'll buy what, 4 bales of hay. That'll feed all my horses for a day, so that'll help. But anyway, kind of interesting just to look at it with that perspective. But anyway, I hope this has been interesting to you. Which of these horses is your favorite? And let me take you around for just a second. As I told you, Cinder's headed to Ohio. I just want, some of you may wonder, and a lot of times I'll get a text, which horses are for sale? So Cinder's not for sale. He's already spoken for and headed to Ohio. Gold 66 is not for sale. I'm so excited to see him grow up and maybe keep him a stallion. I may keep 2 stallions on the farm. I may gild him, but right now he's definitely not for sale. I got Eho here that I really want to at least keep until he sheds off. I wanted to see the complete transformation from where he was to where he'll end up. So none of these are for sale right here. Probably the #1 horse that everyone's always asking me about right now. Sorry, I'm just walking through here. These aren't horses, just so you know. Some people have asked, why are you keeping your cows out here? Well, they are pooping everywhere, and I don't want to keep them here forever. But this red one, she's pretty feisty, and I was afraid she'd jump a fence. So I'm just getting them really used to the farm, feeding them here close. She's really calming down, and so pretty soon I'll be able to put her out in the pasture, but I just didn't want her to put her out there before she knew where she was at. Okay, we got some donkeys down here. Chief, everyone's asking about Chief all the time. I haven't wanted to sell him because he's just so good. Like I told you, we gilded him, but we only found 1 testicle. And sometimes when the mares are in heat, he acts pretty excited. But 99% of the time, he is as quiet as can be, and he's broke to ride very well. He's trained very well. So I'm probably going to end up selling Chief just because I need to make room for other projects. Sorry, I stepped in the barn real quick. The wind was picking up. But so many of you have inquired about Chief that I honestly can't even keep track of all the comments and questions. And is Chief for sale? Let me know if he comes for sale. It's hard to stay organized. So if you are interested in Chief, make me an offer on our Facebook or Instagram. We will consider the offer. You'd need to know that, like I said, that he may have 1 testicle still up in his abdomen. And if he does have that, he could breed a mare. So I don't know what to tell you. It would be a very expensive surgery to go in and look for a testicle. The way he acts, I wouldn't even worry about it if you didn't have mares around, or if he was your only horse, because he's just so quiet and good. If you do get him from us, and you live a long ways away, you need to know that the shippers that we've been using charge $1 per mile, loaded mile. So that means from our house to your house. You could Google it, Google map it, see how many miles that is, and then you would know what they would charge you to ship it to your house. So you could just Google from northern Arizona, near Holbrook, Arizona, to wherever you live, and then you would have a real close estimate of what shipping would cost. I'm trying to think what else I was gonna... Oh, and then there's a Coggins test and veterinary certificate, vet inspection that's required to cross state lines. Now, if you come get it yourself, you still would, if you live out of state, you still would be required the Coggins test and the vet certificate, but obviously then shipping costs would be whatever you could do it for. So I would at least consider offers for Chief right now. We also have not sold Poco yet. I thought he would sell really quick. Some people thought I was asking too much at $3,000 for a mule that's about 24 to 25 years old, which is fine. We don't we're not going to give him away. A well-trained, gentle mule like him is invaluable. Plus, a lot of people think mules have the same lifespan as horses, and they don't. If you want to look it up, mules live on average 10 to 15 years longer than horses. Even though they're half horse, half donkey, the hybrid produces a long living animal. So anyway, sorry I've talked about so much today. I hope it's interesting to some of you. Now you know a little bit what it costs to feed a horse right now. I just kind of guesstimate it's about $100 per horse per month. And I have a lot of horses right now. So, but for you, that may be helpful if you're wondering if you could afford a horse, but then if you have to board them in a facility that charges you rent, then it can go way up from there. So anyway, have a great day and God bless.